not just listening to just an ordinary sports podcast.
We've raised the bar.
And that ball is gone.
You're listening to the maddest sports podcast in Nashville.
Yes, sir.
And now, coming to the mic is the maddest sports host in the 615, James C.
What's going on? It's your boy James C. Back with another episode of YMAS. That's You Mad About Sports Podcast. Okay, let's get into the show. So today, for those of you that follow me on Twitter, you already knew what this episode's about. This is why Maroon 5 was the worst choice ever for the halftime show at this year's Super Bowl. Now look, before I start, let me say this, and I want to be clear when I say this. I love Maroon 5. I do. I love their music. I really do. And this is nothing personal against them. Matter of fact, I would have preferred them over Lady Gaga or even Katy Perry a couple of years ago. But the NFL got this one wrong, okay? Atlanta has its very own music scene. It's not like the Super Bowl is being hosted in LA or New York or in other big market venues. No, it's hosted in a small market city that has its own music scene, and its music scene is globally, I'm talking globally, well known. Even the Atlanta Falcons had Jermaine Dupri and Ludacris redo their top Billboard hit, Welcome to Atlanta. Everybody knows about Welcome to Atlanta. But they redid it to represent the vibe that the Falcons want to have this season. Now, the Falcons ain't having that vibe, but either way, they did that, okay? And it's dope. Sometimes I blast it in my car. Even the mayor used the song to help declare every Friday will be Falcons Friday. And if you've seen the video, you've seen the teacher there up here, Millie rocking it. You've seen that. So, that's just a snippet. Atlanta has arguably the best and most successful acts coming out of its city, okay? Outkast, Jermaine Dupri, Ludacris, Migos, T.I., Lil Jon, Young Thug, Gucci Mane, Young Jeezy, Sierra, Usher, kind of. That's a long story. That's another debate for another day. That's not even a fraction, though, of what the city has to offer. Now, am I saying that Gucci Mane and Thugger Thugger should be the halftime show host? No, I'm not saying that at all. But what the NFL should have done was make the halftime show be about the Atlanta artists. If they had to name a headliner, you could have went with Outkast or Jermaine Dupri. Personally, I think you should have went with Outkast because everybody and their mama wants to see Big Boy and Andre 3000 back on stage again. Now, I think they are performing together here very, very soon, but still, people are wanting an Outkast reunion. People are wanting an album. Either way, people are wanting Outkast. That's what I would have done. I would have thrown whatever kind of money they want, I would have thrown at them. But Jermaine Dupri and Ludacris would have been dope as well. But the halftime show should have been about the music scene in the city it's hosted in. That's the thing. Atlanta has a great music scene, y'all. Everybody knows about the acts coming out of Atlanta. You heard exactly who I just listed off. Like I said before, you could argue places like LA and New York and other big markets, they don't pay homage to the city that the Super Bowl is hosted in for halftime. But the genres there are so huge. You have country music, pop music, hip-hop music, Bay Area type music. You get all different types of genres in those big market areas. So it's hard to narrow it down to one. Atlanta's a different story. You know what the sound is coming from Atlanta. It's strictly hip-hop. Yeah, you might have some country music here and there, but you know Atlanta, the city of Atlanta, is strictly hip-hop. The catalog is long, and most likely you want to target a superstar to do those halftime performances if those Super Bowls are hosted in those big market areas. But this is Atlanta. Small market with a huge and successful music scene, again, that is globally known. Now, it did come out that Maroon 5 will also be paired up with Cardi B and Travis Scott. Now, originally, when I was going to talk about this show, I was going to go into they still could pair Maroon 5 with somebody from Atlanta. Instead, they went in this direction. You know, they could have done what they did with Bruno Mars when he hosted the halftime show or headlined the halftime show. And they paired him up with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I'm going to be real with you. I loved Michael Jackson's performance and I loved Prince's performance. But Bruno Mars' performance in the halftime show was by far one of my favorite halftime shows to ever watch. Sometimes I just go back and watch it. But anyway, I'm getting off topic here. They paired Maroon 5 with Cardi B and Travis Scott. And I love Cardi B and I love Travis Scott, but the NFL still got this wrong. Okay? Cardi B is a New York artist. Travis Scott, when I looked him up, he's from Texas. I believe he is signed with T.I.'s Hustle Gang label. Last time I checked. I don't know that to be sure. But you still got it wrong. And yes, Cardi B is the top-selling female artist right now. Travis Scott is one of the most young and up-and-coming producers and artists to come up through the game. He's very, very successful. I get it. And not to say they don't deserve it. They do. They've worked hard for this moment. And I want to be clear. I'm not trying to hate on none of these acts. I'm not trying to hate on Maroon 5. I'm not trying to hate on Cardi B. And I'm not trying to hate on Travis Scott. I'm just saying for the Super Bowl to be in Atlanta, I feel like this was an opportunity for the NFL to kind of dedicate the Super Bowl for the city. You had an opportunity to have the Super Bowl in a city that has a huge, globally well-known genre of music, which is hip-hop. Now, I don't know if they're afraid that the halftime show will get political, if they have hip-hop artists or as headliners. I don't know, but either way it goes, the NFL got this one wrong. They should have went in a different direction. And to be real, I would have saved Maroon 5 for a bigger market Super Bowl. In my personal opinion, I think this is a slap in the face to Maroon 5. You're saying we'll put you in Atlanta. You know, we think you're good enough for Atlanta. And I know that's kind of contradicting to my argument. I get that. Because I'm arguing that Atlanta artists should be in the Super Bowl and that this is just a step down for Maroon 5. But in my opinion, Maroon 5 is a huge pop band, correct? They are a big market brand, correct? So I feel like their title should be lined up with a big market Super Bowl. Now, it's not to say that Jermaine Dupri, Ludacris, and all those Atlanta rappers aren't big market type of guys either. They are. I'm just saying for the Super Bowl to be in Atlanta, this was an opportunity for the NFL to have an Atlanta hosted Super Bowl. I don't think that's ever been done. For a city to have its people take over the Super Bowl halftime show. It would have been dope. It would have been dope. It would have been crazy. Probably would have been one of those halftime shows we would be talking about for years to come. Man, you remember when the Super Bowl was hosted in Atlanta and Jermaine Dupri, Outkast, Ludacris, T.I., Migos, all these acts just came out on the stage and performed hits? I mean, it would have been legendary. It could have been. And it still could be. Halftime shows at the Super Bowl, you don't know who's going to pop out. I mean, anybody can pop out. I think the Black Eyed Peas, when they hosted the Super Bowl, they had a bunch of acts coming out of nowhere. Janet Jackson, when she hosted the Super Bowl, had a bunch of acts come out of nowhere. Anything can happen, okay? I remember last year when Justin Timberlake, I was fully expecting NSYNC to come out at some point. And I was actually disappointed that didn't happen because I was fully expecting that. But, you know, it is what it is. The NFL is going to do what the NFL does, and that's not necessarily a good thing. But, you know, it is what it is. They've made the choice. Maroon 5, Cardi B, Travis Scott. Props to them. I always give my props. Congratulations on, you know, winning the bid for hosting or headlining the Super Bowl. I hope you guys do a great job. But I will end with this. NFL, got to do better. This was an opportunity to take it to the next level. And you missed out on an opportunity. So that's my spiel. Now, I have to end the show by asking you guys. I ask you, what do you think? Did the NFL get this one right, or did they get it wrong? So, y'all already know what to do. Hit me up on Twitter at jcottonsports52. Go ahead and follow the network at YMAS Network. Then go ahead and subscribe to the podcast on SoundCloud, on iTunes, on YouTube. And you know what to do. Slide in my DMs at me. I don't care what you want to do. Go ahead and talk to me. Let's debate. Did the NFL get this one right, or did it get it wrong? Or do you even care? Do you even watch the halftime show anymore? Are you one of those people that don't even care what the NFL does? So hit me up. Y'all already know what to do. And that's the end of the show. So you've been listening to the maddest sports podcast in the 615. YMAS, that's You Mad About Sports podcast. And I'm the maddest host in the 615. Your boy, James C. I'm out of here. Holla at your boy.